world America is making sound. Not riding the greyhound, the underclass want to pay back like James Bond going down.
Boom, boom.
The problem with most people, a lot of them don't care about others. They're all self-centered, they're all narcissistic, and they're all out for themselves. They sit on their
All right, all right, all right, all right. Hello, everybody. This is K Almighty from the third row, right? Uh, on this channel, we do advocate for the downtrodden, the marginalized, the misunderstood, and the abused. On this channel, we will always discuss the third row, underlying the marginalized once again for the ones that doesn't have a voice for themselves. We advocate for people that are in need. On this channel, we do discuss the third world that is the underclass in America. Um, so today, we'll be discussing our black youth, right? And when I say our black youth, we talking about our American black youth in particular, but all is welcome to join the conversation. Um, these days, we have challenges in our political system, our cultural system. We have America. They have a constant uh, dislike for the black Americans, and it's rooted into their system of we you would call it their justice, but I would call it injustice. Civilization, um, they would like us to be civil, but they are not. Um, so today we will be discussing parenting, the challenges of parenting today's black youth. I remember when I was a parent, I believe my mother did her best. Um, my belated mother, she did her best at e- equipping me with the tools of being a responsible adult. I know it was a challenge because I'm a real, I was a handful when I was a youth, you know. Um, but these challenges, uh, they always wanted the best, even if they couldn't provide the best. Um, so, but as we grow, we learn what we did wrong, our missteps. You can't correct what you did wrong. You can just move forward and try to do better. And that's one thing about this advocacy is we always are trying to find ways to do things better. All right. As a parent, I always tell my kids to do your best, be your best, and treat people the best as you can. It gets muddy sometimes because you don't know who have your best interests. Parenting, who have your best interests. Uh, I would like to say that your the parents have the best interests at heart for the child. Um, I would like to say the mother and the father um, should be rooted in those decisions to keep the child on a good path, uh, good leadership. It's not a given that that will always happen because everybody, like we learned from our civil rights days, has a agenda, right? You as an individual, you have to live and you have to eat for yourself. So your next generation, we wouldn't actually mind who pay for our living. Uh, we just know that we have to do the best for ourselves, and that's the struggle of a black culture, a black American culture, where a system was geared to keep them under as a class, to keep them in servitude as a class, never repair them as a class. But let's get to this parenting. I would say if you're parenting three black males, you will want them to be growing up as strong, independent black males. I remember myself as a youth. I grew up with a single mother, and the best thing for a youth is stability. Our housing stability, it wasn't affordable, so we grew up moving from house to house. We never had a solid ground. So for me as a youth, I had a single mother. There was a father, and he made decisions. Um, he made decisions that he made for himself. Like most adults, they make a decision, and I'm sure it was difficult for him. I'm not going to scapegoat or discuss that, but as a black parent, as I am myself, I would never run away from my responsibilities. It is a challenge in raising youth, no doubt. But this challenge has been took out of my hands by a system that says it's just. Uh, they didn't have a hand in making the child, but they claim jurisdiction over the child. Now, these challenges, right, navigating these youth, stability is one, and that's very important. Now, fatherlessness in the stability, I think for me, that was one of the challenges. I was a black youth, and I didn't uh, have a father to uh, play basketball with, or come to my basketball games, or play football with, or come to a football game with. Um, I used to always tell my kids, you should be very blessed that you had a father that was in your life, that wanted to be there every day of your life, right? It was never a time where I wanted to be outside of their life. I was a lord over my kids, no doubt. I wanted to be involved in all aspects. I remember when I came home from school, and there was nobody home. So what should I do? It's the 80s, 90s. There's no cell phone. There's no Wi-Fi. There's no TV. Now we couldn't afford a TV to plant yourself in front of, and if it was a TV, it's nothing on it to watch. And I grew up in Miami, where it's very hot. There was no AC. There's no AC at this time of my living. So um, outside was my place of choice. Right? Find any corner, a neighborhood football game, a park basketball game, and outside is where you can find me. Um, that challenge of me being outside by myself as a youth, it was very laughable. The challenges that you have um, growing up as a youth in Miami, you see a lot of things. You go through a lot of things. Um, so I think kids need stability. They need a father figure. I think it's very important for kids to have a father in their life. Now, it, if it's willing for both parties, they should have a mother and a father. But if it's a young male, it's most prevalent for him to have a father growing up. I mean, I a father, can show you a lot. He can teach you a lot, and you can believe that he have your best interests in life. If he's a correct father, um, he would do those things, right? So here we go. It's the 80s, 90s. They have a war on drugs that made a big impact on the black youth life. That's not the challenges of these kids, right? If they're in these neighborhoods, it does. But they don't have the jump out boys running down in their cities right now. Uh, you probably do have ICE, but that's not for the black youth. Um, they have challenges, no doubt, but they shouldn't be left alone. So what I would say is focus your kids on something positive, right? Capture their attention on something good and steer them in the right direction where they wouldn't have to resort to the lifestyle that we had to live. And I would say the biggest challenges of parenting a youth these days is the social media. The influences of the social media is one of the biggest challenges. Uh, have knowledge of their doing, be a part, understanding what they're going through is a big part of the day's youth. You wouldn't want to leave a child alone in today's world. I believe you know the 80s and the 90s, it was cool, it was dangerous, it was, but I believe today it's more dangerous for the simple fact that um knowledge is powerful, and it's a lot of knowledge or disinformation of knowledge that's out here in America or in any place in the world today. And with this knowledge, it becomes a misbehavior on a lot of people's part. It's information that you take in almost instantly. Back then, you had a newspaper where you take information in, but now your location is already readily known. Um, uh, you can learn almost about anything if you want to. Now, and the problem is a lot of people is learning a bunch of nothing, and that's the biggest problem about this information age. It's a bunch of nothing being learned on the internet. So it's a bunch of mind numbing experiences that's going through your child's head. He's not. I be on it. I be on it all the time, and I be wondering like, what and why do you want to see these things on your YouTube or whatever your social media device is. I look at the kids' things, and they almost mix everything up in these YouTubes streets. Um, and if you don't be careful, they're not learning anything on it. Most black kids, uh, they see a bunch of stuff and they don't know what are they watching, and that can be very dangerous for the youth. So be aware of what your kids are learning. I know for me, I just want their mind to always be active in something positive. I don't want them. I definitely don't appreciate them sitting around all day playing video games. I don't think a video game is actually being positive for the youth. Um, it doesn't help them grow. It it starts them as a being a what you call that, an introvert. You don't interact with other human beings. You don't know how to interact because all you're doing is playing a game that doesn't move you forward in thinking. Right? You're not learning strategy. You're just pushing buttons and you're just playing. Right? For me, I like playing a good game of chess. Chess is very good. Now, let's go on. I can talk and run off in a tangent, and we'll all not know what we're talking about. But what we're talking about today is our black youth, our black American youth, right? It needs to be a refocus and a full fledged assault on their minds to get them knowing that this place in America doesn't care anything about them. I've been looking for generations and I've been here for generations. And what I am saying is an assault on a black American in America. In America, there is an assault going on. If you don't pay attention, they out hunting for the black American. And no, it's not a joke. It's really not a joke. This is a real thing we going on right here. Because as we see, we never have repair. Now, we all know the talking points. You've seen it. A lot of people, a lot of ethnicities have gotten repair. And we talk about it all the time. We have Black History Month for the last, I don't know, Eric, I'm kind of old. So I know since 1977, maybe, probably later than that. But we had Black History Month for a while now. And we have the talking points. We have those talking points, right? Uh, we have movies. uh, We have what else we have? Books, even though they try to move it out of the books. And that's what's most that is what is most disgusting about this all. They want to take the knowledge out of schools and books. Why would they want to take the knowledge out of school and books? I don't know. Let me think about why would they want to take the knowledge out? So the kids won't learn. If you have a kid that's not learning anything in school already and he come across these things, he wouldn't know nothing about it anyway. This need to be taught at home because the schools is really not going to teach it. It's a problem, Black America. that our youth is growing up and the gentrification and the stealing and the robbing of the black culture is on full assault. No, 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 no. It's not. It's not. It's not. I would tell you, it's not a laughing matter. It is not. It's very laughable, but it is not a laughing matter, our youth. Our youth, you need to know that you have a counterpart, a YT. I don't, they say YT. YT is he. But the assault, as you can see, the legal system has always played a part in ripping the black youth out of the black man's hand. This is no doubt about it. This is what goes on often. You can see the jail system. They take away from your mama. They listen. This system is catered to destroying black males. Yeah, no doubt about it. Right? You catch them when they're young, and the system does that all the time. Why are we laughing? This is true. I grew up in the era, right? Yes. Listen, it was no reason. It was no reason that they had me in that class. When I was a youth, it was a class that they called it what they call that class? It was a second step program. And no, 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 this is not a joke. It was called a second step program. Why would we laugh at that? Because I don't know. Listen, so they put us in this class, and they this is the war on drugs, if you can believe it or not, right? Whew. The war on drugs. I see it every day in my streets. Yeah, at the war on drugs. How did they know? It is the war on drugs. Now, as a youth, now I didn't know nothing about drugs. Me, I did not. I, listen, as a youth, my father did it, but he was respectful. He was. He was absolutely respectful. He no, 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 no signs. He didn't show me. Huh? Yeah, for real. Believe it or not, I had no idea. Listen, I was a child, right? They put me in this class. It's called a second step program, right? It was a second step. So they put us in this class and they show us the illicit drugs that you can get on the streets. What? They sell this stuff on the street? How do they know that? How do they know they sell this stuff on the street? Listen, I might have been in the fourth grade, right? It was true. My grades wasn't that. Listen, my grades, yeah, I was a kid raised by a mother. My grades, they struggled. Let's say that. And yes, it was laughable. It was laughable. Those grades. Listen, if you seen those grades, my mama said, and then she said, "What?" I was like, "No, mama, the teacher don't like me." I was like, "No, mama, the teacher just don't like me." Right? I had this white teacher named Miss Dot. I can. She just didn't look the part, and she was a skinny old white lady, and she didn't care if I learned or not. I think she probably the one that put me in that class. You know, I didn't. I wasn't rude to her or nothing. I was a kid. and that's the first interaction I have with a white tea lady. Yeah, that was the first interaction. She was a nice lady. I didn't I didn't mean nothing about it. I just was a youth and I did my thing. So we go into the second step program, and the program was about being aware, right? Because it was also a part of say no to drugs. Thank you. And I was youth under Ronald Reagan, and this was his push on the war on drugs to fight the evil people that sell illicit drugs. Right? They get them. You selling drugs on the streets of America, sir? How do the drugs get here? In that class, they never said how the drugs get on the streets of America. They just said they selling it. They never showed the chart on how the drugs get to America. But it was a party all around the USA because it was a plan for the black Americans to be wiped out, no doubt, without clout. It was a plan to put the smackdown on the black Americans. Can you believe it? This is what they wanted to do. This is what they are doing. I was in the fourth or fifth grade, and they showed these illicit drugs that you're supposed to sell. Like they put the whole category up there: TA, marijuana, cocaine, everything that you can think about, even the pills that was white Americans is hooked on today. They even had the pills on the chart. So all right, okay, this is believable. And then in one of these next classes, they got the STD category going on. Like, yeah, we just in the fourth and fifth grade. What we talking about STDs for? I'm thinking about making love in the classroom yet, or was they? It was the '80s. Them kids. Listen, hold on to your black youth. Uh, these kids need a steady hand and a good parenting. All right. So, um, this second step program that we're talking about, uh, that I was in, they tuck you down the next path, and the next path is all when you got drugs, you have sex, and the sex they showed you the chart. These are what you can counteract as a youth having miscellaneous encounters with females, right? You can spread even to getting a young lady um, pregnant, right? So that was part of the course. We go into this class all the time, and they tell us about all these things. So, as me, as a young youth that probably had no guiding, this was part for the course. I don't know how they knew it, but no, I wasn't part of the sex category. Okay, I I, I was a youth. Girls, I liked them, but I wasn't as a youth. But I love them, but I'm not as a youth. As a youth, you know. So we go along. I was macho. So we go along in this class, and they say, "Oh, Let's have a field trip, right? As a kid, we love field trips, right? Yeah. Nobody want to stay in class, right? So a field trip is what's going on now. A field trip is where we go find a. Oh, you can't say that word, right? But I ain't gonna say it. But the field trip is what's going on. So, where you think our field trip was at? For a show of hands, where is the field trip? And the second step program. They showed us drugs. They showed us uh, SCX things. Uh, what what else is they showing us on this second step? Man, I hit the wrong button. This was the one I wanted. Yes, that's what they did. They took us to the county lockup. They showing us the place where these things that you can get into take you, right? As a youth, right? They showing us these places, right? They showing us these places that you can get to. Now, and obviously, if you're on a field trip, you have to interact with the guys that's in the jungle, the concrete jungle. That was the first time I seen inside a jail, and it was a real deal. They escorted us into the jail. Uh, a fourth and fifth grader. Can you believe this? Call it a second step program. They escorted us into the jailhouse in a single file. Listen, nobody get out of line. That's what they said. Everybody stay in line. And how bad of a youth we was. Everybody stay in the line. So we walk up the corridor. We walk. We see the inmates, and at the jail, they had cells, and then they had people looking at you through the cells, making noises. Can you believe this? As a youth, it was so real. It was awesome. Oh God, yeah. This is one of the first introductions I had to this system. Yeah, I don't think it was a mistake. I think it was a guidance. What they call it? What they call that now? They call it a prison, a pipeline. Yes, they definitely had that action going. This is America, the land we love, and don't I love it? And if you don't love it, you should leave, because this is it. And you have to do what you can to get what you can and be who you can, right? To keep it positive, you got to stay focused, rolling, and doing what you got to do, until you is a done deal. So let's go on to this story. So we finish walking through the corridor, and they take us into a room inside the county jail. I wonder if they kept roll, or who went to that field trip. I wonder if you can get on the roll or see who was on that trip, and you got to keep count now of who did and who did not go back without without being ushered. If you understand what I'm saying, I don't know. We got to see who was on that roll. I listen. eh, it was real. So so they take us in there, and everybody sit down, and then they have the inmates walk in. Right? Why? Okay, we seen it. It wasn't enough. Oh, we need somebody to talk to us. that's inside a jail. Give the men a round of applause, please, for coming up and walking and talking the jailhouse talk to some fourth and fifth graders. If you understand what I'm saying, it's fourth and fifth graders here that you finna give this talk to. And let's listen. Listen to the guy. I know it was a party for this guy up in there. No doubt about it. It was a party for this guy up in there. Okay? He was loving it. He was like, kids, don't, don't, don't get in trouble. Stay out of here. You don't want to be in jail. You don't want to be in the system. That's what this guy was saying. It's hard to live here, right? That's what he was saying. It's hard. And we was like, all right, we hear you. That's what I was saying in my mind. And I don't know how he must have read my face. Can you believe this guy came and challenged me? I'm not storying. He came and challenged a fourth and fifth grader. Like, you think you can make it in here? Do you? You think you can make it? What you think I said? Huh? What what you think I can't make it? Listen, when I was a youth, I think I had no fear. First of all, I didn't think I can die. I never seen it. As a youth, I didn't believe it. I didn't know. So, as a youth, if you telling me, do you think you can make it? I don't even think I can die. So why can't I be able to survive in your homeland? Right? And why you think I can't survive in this jungle that you think you living in? Uh, uh, you, I know you can't hit me. That's your struggle right there first. So if you're talking to a youth, uh, you don't have no authority over me because I know you can't hit me right now. So I can say almost anything out of my mouth. But I was a youth, and I told him, "Yeah, I think I can make it in your place, no doubt." And so what we talking about? And that's what me and him was discussing right there in front of the class. I don't know why you picked me out. Why you single me? But he singled me, right? Like you, because I guess he seen my face. Like, what what we doing here? And he was like, "You." I was like, "Me? Me who? What you want to talk about?" Well, we talked about it. The misguidance that he must have seen, right? So that was par for the course for this lifespan. As a fourth and fifth grader going through the second step program, um, I didn't know what I didn't know, but then I didn't have a father to let me know. So I would tell all these young men out here, you should always pay attention to your young men and the ladies for that example, because the women, they need guidance also, right? They have all these challenges that the young males are going through. But if you know there is an assault on a black American, right? Call it Friedemann, Adolphs, Salon, whichever acronym, whatever you want to use for this enslaved black man. And no doubt about it, you still on the plantation. You have a system that's geared to keeping you on the plantation. Eh, It ain't nothing you gonna do when a white man roll. And we need to do better at counteracting the white T supremacy. Right? This is it's getting out of hand. I remember when I was a youth and we was discussing this. Um, it was out of hand then, and now it's getting more out of hand. But what I would say is, get your youth to focus on something positive, right? Train their mind to be strong. Equip them with skills, right? Um, right and wrong is a real deal, but uh, they can't learn right and wrong from an American society that doesn't um, take on responsibilities and repairing a people, right? How can you teach these children about just us when when all along it was just for them, right? Because it's one way for them, and then it's one way for them, and then you teaching right and wrong, and then they see Americans always wrong. I don't believe it's one time in life that America. I'm not going to get on the soapbox of America because this is the land we love, right? Because I'm all American, and it's nothing else about me that's not, right? But let's not get on the tangent about America. Let's stay on the focus on guiding the youth, right? Get them to learn something every day. Give them something to do every day, right? It's not good to have a child just being left to having a device so they can learn. The second step program is on his phone. Uh-huh. The second step program is on his phone, believe it or not. You can see all of that stuff that they took me through in that second step program right on his phone. And it didn't help. This phone ain't helping either. The phone, the social media, the video game box, playing video games all day. It's not helping your child develop. No cognitive skills, right? And I would never talk about right and wrong because there is actually, I don't believe in there a right and wrong, right? You want to apologize for what? A decision that has been made in life. Why would you want to a child to comprehend a bad decision that you didn't help guide them in or out of because you was just let them stay on the phone or you gave them a device to play with while you lived your life. That's not the way it works in life, right? You have a responsibility as a parent, right? You made your decision to have this lovely child. We should we should take ownership of this lovely child. That's if the YT people allow you to. Is crazy. But we respect it, right? We know it's injustice, and it's only justice for a few. And if your skin color looks the part, they let you play the part, right? So that's part of the system of the YT supremacy, right? So um, we're gonna leave it at this. Protect your children at all times, right? Give them a safe environment to grow. Teach them everything you know and more, right? Give them some positive books to get acclimated to the system of white tea supremacy. Let them know that they are special and they have things to do. They have people to be, right? You want them to be somebody, right? Because I seen this lady the other day, and me and the guy was discussing it, and it said when that baby was born, okay, because I'm from the third world America where I see, and I do advocate for those, but at some point, these people that I advocate for, they were somebody's child, and they were so precious, and they was the apple of their father's or mother's eyes. But now, as an adult, I understand their parents would be not so happy for the outcome. Now, I'm finna sign off, but what I want to say is, I had a blast. Don't let this time pass where you kiss the child, hug the child, always love on the child, and let the child know that it has something to do in life. With that being said, we're going to be out of here for this episode. Thank you, everyone. If you want to be generous,
The problem with most people, a lot of them don't care about others. They're all self-centered. They're all narcissistic.